The movie begins in a chaotic city where destruction, crime, and madness happen every single second. Yet for one man, everything feels perfectly normal and even beautiful. Guy, a cheerful and optimistic bank teller, wakes up every morning to the exact same routine, greeting his goldfish, eating cereal, and heading to work with a smile on his face. Despite living in a city where explosions, robberies, and violence are constant, he believes his life is perfect, except for one missing piece. He dreams of finding the love of his life, someone who will make his repetitive world finally feel complete and meaningful. Every day unfolds exactly the same as Guy walks to his favorite coffee shop, orders the same drink, and meets his best friend Buddy, a security guard who seems just as content with their predictable lives. Even when chaos erupts around them, like robberies happening right in front of their eyes, they treat it as completely normal. But everything begins to change the moment Guy sees a mysterious woman walking through the streets, confident, powerful, and completely different from everyone else. And in that instant, he becomes convinced that she is the one he has been waiting for his entire life. Meanwhile, the woman, known as Molotov Girl, is on a mission of her own, searching for hidden evidence inside this world. And unlike everyone else, she operates with purpose and awareness. When Guy finally gathers the courage to approach her, things go horribly wrong, and he ends up getting hit and reset like nothing ever happened. But something deep inside him has already changed. And the next day, even though his routine repeats again, a small spark of curiosity begins to grow within him, pushing him to question the world around him for the very first time. That curiosity reaches a breaking point when Guy decides to do something completely unexpected. He orders a different coffee, shocking everyone around him, as if breaking an unspoken rule of the universe. Soon after, when a robbery begins at the bank as usual, instead of following the script, Guy takes a bold step and steals a pair of sunglasses from one of the criminals, unknowingly unlocking a completely new perspective that reveals the hidden truth of his world. The moment he puts on the glasses, everything changes as Guy suddenly sees the city filled with floating icons, health bars, power-ups, and missions, realizing that his reality is not real at all, but part of a massive video game. Confused but excited, he begins experimenting with this new reality, discovering abilities, collecting items, and exploring the world in ways he never thought possible. While outside the game, developers are left shocked as they detect something impossible, an NPC acting like a real player. As the creators of the game investigate, they suspect hacking, but the truth is far stranger than they could have imagined. Guy, now awakened, refuses to follow the violent path of typical players and instead chooses to become a hero, helping innocent people and stopping crimes without harming anyone. This unexpected behavior quickly makes him famous both inside and outside the game, turning him into a viral sensation that captures the attention of millions watching online. Back in the real world, we learn about Millie, the woman behind Molotov Girl, who is secretly searching for proof that her former partner's groundbreaking AI code was stolen and used to build the game. Her mission is dangerous, and she needs help, but her former partner Keys initially refuses, unwilling to risk his job. However, as Guy's strange behavior continues, Keys begins to suspect that something deeper is happening, something connected to the very code he once helped create. As Guy continues leveling up and becoming stronger, he reunites with Molotov Girl and impresses her with his unique approach to the game, refusing to hurt others while still progressing faster than anyone else. Their bond begins to grow as they fight together, share experiences, and eventually spend time outside of battles, discovering they have surprisingly similar tastes and personalities, which makes their connection feel even more real and powerful. During one of their quiet moments together, Guy confesses his feelings and kisses her, creating a moment that completely confuses Millie, because she begins to feel something genuine for someone who isn't even supposed to be real. At the same time, Keys discovers the truth. Guy is not controlled by a player, but is actually a fully evolved AI created from the stolen code, proving that their original vision has come to life in a way no one expected. However, this revelation comes with a devastating consequence, as the company plans to shut down the current game and replace it with a new version, which would erase Guy and everything he has become. When Millie tries to explain the truth to him, telling him that his entire world is fake and that he doesn't exist outside of it, Guy is shattered, unable to process the idea that his life, his memories, and his feelings might all be meaningless. Lost and overwhelmed, Guy runs through the city in desperation, trying to warn others, only to realize that no one else can see the truth the way he does. But in his darkest moment, his best friend Buddy reminds him that even if their world isn't real, the experiences they share still matter, reigniting Guy's determination to fight for his existence and protect the people he cares about. With renewed purpose, Guy decides to help Millie retrieve the evidence she needs, and together they successfully obtain the file that proves the truth about the stolen code. But just as they are about to succeed, the game's creator intervenes, resetting the entire world and wiping Guy's memory, forcing him back into his old routine as if nothing ever happened. Refusing to give up, Millie returns to the game and finds Guy again, desperately trying to remind him of who he is. At first, he doesn't remember anything, but when she kisses him, all of his memories come rushing back, restoring everything they had built together and reigniting their mission to expose the truth and save the world from being erased forever. As they uncover the final clue, they realize that the hidden world containing the original code exists beyond the boundaries of their current map, across an ocean no one has ever crossed. Determined to reach it, Guy rallies the NPCs of the city, inspiring them to break free from their routines and take control of their own lives, creating a massive shift in the game as characters begin acting on their own will for the first time. At this point in the story, everything changes, and the stakes become higher than ever, forcing the question: if you suddenly realized your entire world was fake, would you fight to change it or accept it and stay safe? As chaos spreads and the system begins to collapse, players and viewers around the world watch in disbelief as Guy leads a rebellion unlike anything the game has ever seen. As Guy and Millie race toward the ocean, the game's creator unleashes destruction across the city, collapsing buildings and sending enemies after them in a desperate attempt to stop their progress. With the help of keys, they create a path forward, but just as they are about to cross, Millie is forcibly removed from the game, leaving Guy to continue the mission alone. Facing impossible odds, Guy is confronted by a powerful enemy designed specifically to destroy him, leading to an intense and chaotic battle where he uses everything he has learned to survive. Drawing on every ability and item he has collected, he fights back with incredible determination, refusing to give up even when it seems like defeat is inevitable. In a surprising turn, Buddy steps in to help his friend, showing that even those who once followed the rules blindly can choose to stand for something greater. Together, they overcome the obstacle, and Guy continues his journey across the bridge, watching as the world behind him begins to disappear, including the people he cares about most. As everything collapses around him, Guy pushes forward alone, determined to reach the hidden world and prove the truth, even if it means losing everything. In the real world, the situation escalates as the creator attempts to destroy the servers entirely. But Millie arrives just in time to stop him, striking a deal that saves what remains of the world while exposing his crimes. The truth finally comes to light, leading to his downfall, while the game is reborn into something entirely new, where characters are allowed to live freely without being controlled or exploited, creating a completely different experience that captures the imagination of millions. In the end, as the new world begins to thrive, Guy and Millie meet once again, but this time with a deeper understanding of their connection and the reality they exist in. Though they know they cannot be together in the way they once imagined, their bond remains strong, and as everything settles, another realization emerges. Guy was never just a random creation, but something far more personal, something that connects the past and present in a way no one expected. As the story closes, everything comes full circle, leaving behind a world that has changed forever, driven by one NPC who refused to stay in the background and instead became the center of his own story. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another epic movie breakdown. Drop a comment and tell me your favorite moment from the story, and check out more videos right now for your next binge-worthy recap.